Let us study about series combination of resistors. The idea here is to find an effective resistance which is called as R suffix S. Now this RS basically means that this will provide the same effect as these resistors in series, which means suppose we have a battery which supplies a voltage drop of say 10 volt, and this combination draws a current of example 5 ampere. The same amount of current 5 amperes flows through all the resistors. Now what we can do here is we can replace all of these three resistors by a single resistor which is called as RS, such that this resistor will also draw the same current for the same battery and the same voltage drop applied. So the battery will not know whether it is one resistor or many resistor. So this effect is called as equivalent effect, and the resistor is called as equivalent resistor. So we need to find what this equivalent resistance is. To understand this, let us start deriving the expression for it. Now here the voltage drop V which is applied divides into three parts. Therefore we can say that V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Now since same current flows through all the resistors, we can say V1 is equal to I into R1, V2 is I into R2, and V3 is I into R3. Putting it back in this form, what we get is, we get V is equal to I into R1 plus I into R2 plus I into R3. Here pulling out I common, what we get is I comes out. So V is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3 into I. Let us call this as equation number 1. Now here for this equivalent circuit, if we use Ohm's law, it is the same battery and the same current comes out. So here we can say for this equivalent circuit, applying Ohm's law, what we get is, we get V is equal to I into RS. Let us call this as 2. Now it is the same battery which supplies the same voltage drop, and also the same current comes out of the battery. So equating 1 and 2, we can say RS is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3 in this case. So we can say that the equivalent resistance is equal to sum of each resistances. It's a very simple expression in this case, where the equivalent is obtained by adding all the resistances. For example, if you assume that R1 has a resistance of 2 ohm, R2 of 3 ohm, and R3 of 5 ohm, then the equivalent would be just adding all the three, which in this case would be 10 ohm. Now instead of 3, if you add n resistors of different values, so for n resistors of different values, then R equivalent, which is RS, is same as the previous form. It will be R1 plus R2 plus etc. Rn. Here if R1 and R2 is all equal to Rn, which we call as R. That is, all the resistors have same value. In this case, Rs becomes N times of R. So in this case, what I find out is, we find out that the equivalent resistance is more than the highest resistance value. So in case we want a higher resistance, then we need to put them in series. So this is called as series combination.